Welcome to Montana's Peer Network's How-To series. I'm Katie, Peer Services Coordinator for MPN. Montana's Peer Network is a statewide peer-run recovery organization and a leader in recovery-oriented behavioral health services in Montana. So today I'm going to be telling you how to make a recovery story. I guess what we feel is of the greatest importance is that we keep it short and concise, that we say a lot in a small amount of words, and it's really important that we keep these stories within 5 minutes. So a recovery story has three sections. There's an introduction and a middle and a conclusion. And the introduction is basically like, who are you? What agency you work for, or what organization are you representing to kind of bring this compelling story of recovery. And then probably is going to include like, how long have you been in recovery? What are your diagnoses? What are you in recovery from? And how long have you been in recovery? So the middle includes, it's actually the longest part of your recovery story, and it includes the challenges you overcame, the elements of recovery, and then the inspiration. So challenges you overcame could be, your diagnoses, your hospitalizations. Perhaps you were incarcerated. Perhaps your disorder took away your ability to get gainful employment, or kept you isolated and inhibited your ability to form meaningful relationships, things of that nature, like what it felt like to live when you were sick, the feelings, right? Because that's what we relate to, is the feelings. And then the recovery, the elements of recovery is basically what happened, what was the turning point, and then what did you do to improve, to have progress? What did you do as to treat your behavioral health issues? So basically like the moment of clarity, or, what, like maybe we got some consequence that we didn't want to deal with any more consequences, or maybe we just had a low spiritual moment. Maybe it was a suicide attempt. Maybe it was our final hospitalization. What was that moment where we made a decision, right? And then what are the things that we did to improve our wellness? And what are the things that we continue to do to treat our issues? And then, and that could include, exercise, meditation, 12-step, support groups, peer support, therapy, writing, journaling, service work. Like there's a lot of things that people are doing, prayer, meditation, your spirituality. Those are the kinds of things that, you want to include in your story that helped you improve. And then the inspiration, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Recovery is possible. Basically like what is the message of hope right here? And then your conclusion, and your conclusion will be like, this is the reason why I'm doing this work. This is the reason why I wanted to tell you this story. And then you say, thank you. So, I guess finally, I want to say, there's one thing that I've noticed for myself, and when I watch other people tell their recovery story, is when you have unresolved trauma, when you start to talk about the challenges you overcame, you kind of get swallowed up into a rabbit hole of trauma. And so just really making sure that the trauma isn't the biggest piece of your recovery story, and that possibility is the big take home, right? That people can recover, that mental health issues and substance use disorder are not permanent. They don't mean that the person is useless. There can be rehabilitation, right? And then finally, if you've told your story in other venues, perhaps 12-step, I've told my story in 12-step, and I've also told my story at old treatment centers, and I have this hour or two to tell my story. Basically, if you're going to tell your story to business owners or agencies or state in the legislature, you've got 2 minutes to bring home a compelling message that changes the minds of thousands. And so really just make your words poignant, make them count, and bring a message of hope and not a message of sickness. So yeah, that's how you tell your recovery story. Thanks for watching. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you'd like more information about our services, please visit our website at mtpeernetwork.org. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.